Hey guys, welcome back to a Nerdy Guide to D&D. Welcome back to part 2 of classes, where we go through all the classes and give you a little bit of information and detail about each and every one of them. So if you haven't seen the previous video, it will be right here, right now. If you want to go see it, go check it out. There'll be a link in the description as well. But let's get started with Paladin. A Paladin is a class where it combines a warrior with divine magic. They are holy knights that fight for righteousness and justice, and they are able to smite their enemies with the power of divinity. Paladins have a number of abilities that allow them to help support their allies and protect them, and also deal a heavy amount of damage. They also have heal wounds and are able to protect their allies. They also have access to a number of powerful offensive spells. They also have a pool of health, which is given out once a day, and this can be called lay on hand. Paladins do not have to be righteous at all. You have that option to have an oathbreaker as a paladin. They can be great tanks like barbarians, but also have that support. They are good for players that want to dabble in a little bit of magic and also fight on the front line. They're also players that can also have a deep connection with their deities and also have a sense of purpose. However, paladins may not even have much variety as a class and may struggle in situations if their divine magic is less effective. This is such the case such as clerics as well. Paladins also rely on strength and charisma for their ability scores. I would rate a paladin a 5 out of 5 d20. Next, we have rangers, and no, I'm not going to be biased on this one, even though it is my favourite class. I think, you know what? One of the best classes, but hey ho, hey ho. Rangers are a class that excel in hunting and tracking enemies with a range of ranged weapons and melee weapons as well. Rangers have an ability called favoured terrain, and this means that wherever you are, they have a favoured terrain. But it doesn't make sense if you have a terrain where it's all snowy and you choose a desert. Please make sure you talk to your DM about this, because obviously the DM has made the world for you, and it doesn't make sense if you just choose a desert over a snowy tundra. By not choosing a specific terrain that caters to your world, it can basically waste this very resourceful ability that rangers have. They are very skilled warriors that where they are at home in the wilderness and have a close bond to animals. One of my favourite traits of a ranger would be talking to animals. Rangers have a wide range of skills that allows them to excel in combat and survive in the wilderness. They have proficiencies in ranged weapons, but also can choose whether you want to do a ranged weapon or even a melee weapon. They also have an ability called favoured enemies, and this allows them to track that type of creature or enemy around, and they gain bonuses from tracking and fighting. But with this, rangers do actually have some form of magic. It's not as big as a wizard or a sorcerer, but they do have some form of magic. They have magic that allows them to communicate with animals, to help cure wounds, and also allows them to track things or detect traps either. They also can sense the presence of the enemies. Rangers are a good class for people that want to have a class for independence. They are very good being independent, but also can work well with a group. Plus, the wilderness is on your side as a ranger. You know your ifs and buts about the wilderness. They may also struggle with up close combat because they use ranged weapons or even have that, but remember, their hit points are lower and their AC is also lower. Rangers are known to excel at fighting and tracking. They can also fill the specialities of the group with whatever subclass they pick or however they want to play their ranger. They may also struggle with combat skills and also where their wilderness abilities are useless. The ranger's highest ability should be, or either or, are a dex and a wisdom. Next we have the stealthy rogue, one of Callum's favourite classes. The rogue class excels at being stealthy, deception, and also precision attacks. This class is known for its thieving subclass. This can be chosen as a subclass if you don't want to do it as an actual profession, but they can have the art of misdeception, deceit, and basically they are basically common to actually just be a stealthy little bugger. They can also strike their enemies from the shadows without actually being detected or even being noticed. Rogues have a number of abilities that allow them to excel at being stealthy and even have some subclasses such as assassination. Rogues are also, they are able to pick locks and they are able to use something called sneak attack. This allows them to deal extra damage and basically be undetected as well, and they have an advancement on this as well. Rogues have different rogue archetypes, which allows them to specifically rogues have different roguish attributes, which allows them to specialize in different types of trickery and deception. Rogues are ideal for players that want to play the more stealthy and optimistic route. They're also players that want characters to be skillful in deception and infiltration. They excel at precision damage and slip and rate undetected. They can fill a variety of roles in the group depending on their subclass. Just like the ranger, they can be anything they want. For example, a thief to an assassin. Rogues can also struggle if there's no places that they can be stealthy, or even struggle with a deception effect as well. The primary abilities for a rogue is Dex followed by their intelligence. I rate this 1 out of 5 d20. Next, we have Sorcerer. The Sorcerer class is known for wielding its magic. They're spellcasters who draw their magic from inherited magical powers. They can spontaneously cast spells as well. But with this, they're able to change up their spells every day depending on how high of a level they are. They also have a pretty decent known spell list. The list goes on and on and on. The only time that you can actually spontaneously cast a spell if you pick a wild magic sorcerer, as long as they haven't reached their maximum spell slots of that day. Sorcerers have front magic, which makes them more flexible in order to cast spells. This means that sorcerers have sorcerer points per day, which allows them to choose and spend on what they want. For example, meta magic abilities, or even buying spell slots back before that day. Alternatively, they can sacrifice a spell slot for a sorcerer's point. They also have the ability where they can actually cast the spells quicker than an actual wizard can do as well, by using the ability meta magic. This allows them to modify the properties of their spell. Sorcerers are ideal for players that want a more spontaneous feel for spell casting, and for players that want to use innate magic. They can excel at casting a variety of spells and can choose specifically in different types of magic. However, this could be their flaw. They might not actually have a lot of magic compared to a wizard. They may also struggle where their magic cannot actually be used. Sorcerers can use more magic than wizards, but with the flaw with this is that they have less spell slots. This could be because something happened to them, or even in their bloodline, or even a crazy magical event that happened on that day. Most importantly, they don't need to be taught magic. They're automatically born with it. Sometimes their magic can be unpredictable, and this could mean that if you've chosen the subclass for wild magic, it can be very unpredictable. Sorcerers use Constitution more than wizards do, since they have to concentrate on their spell. So when making a sorcerer, you need to put Charisma as your highest ability score. I give them a 5 out of 5 d20. Warlocks are a magical group that gain their magic from a supernatural being. They're spellcasters who can cast spells but are limited to by their list. By replenishing their spells, they have to take a short rest, and this is the only class to do it, making it very unique spellcaster class. Warlocks have a number of abilities that allows them to excel spell casting. Warlocks have an ability called Eldritch Invocation, which allows them to choose from a variety of special abilities that can enhance their spellcasting or grant them new powers. Warlocks are ideal for players who love the overworld approach to spellcasting, and players who want a special connection to the supernatural being. Warlocks can actually excel at using otherworldly powers and different types of magic depending on their Patreon. Warlocks may struggle if their otherworldly powers aren't effective in a certain situation. They could become less effective as well. A warlock's highest ability should be their charisma, just like sorcerers, but they can be one of the variety of classes that could help out, such as fighters and a caster. I give warlocks a 5 out of 5 d20s. Next, we have wizards. Wizards are wielders of arcane, and their magic comes from their hunt for arcane and knowledge. They are also scholars of spellcasting who study ancient tombs and conduct research to learn and cast spells. Evocation is referring to magic that has a powerful elemental effect. Divination is this magical study of the past, present, and future, to further gain knowledge. Wizards have a number of abilities that allows them to excel at spellcasting. They also have a large number of spells. Wizards also have the arcane tradition that allows them to choose specialities such as evocation. This allows them to focus on the damage being dealt or even being able to use the magic to further their knowledge. And characters that really want a highly skilled in particularly spellcasting. They excel at spellcasting and choosing specific types of magic depending on their arcane tradition. Wizards may also struggle where their magic is less effective and less useful in a different situation than normal. Wizards are seen as and considered one of the most squishiest classes to play. Wizards are very intelligent. This is going to be their highest ability score, and you may want to keep them around if you want to learn from them. I would give them a 4 out of 5 D20. Next, we have the Blood Hunter. This was made for Molly Mox in campaign 2 of Critical Role. Blood Hunter class is a character creation class by Critical Role, introduced Crit Academy Adventures in Eberron. I should also add a trigger warning into this part of the video. If you don't want to watch this video, just skip to the end. It does talk about blood and we have some warnings about that so far. Blood Hunters use a number of abilities which allows them to excel at combat and use their blood magic to enhance their attacks and defend themselves. They can choose from a variety of blood maledictions which allows them to improve their weapons with a magical effect. They also have an ability called Hemocraft, which allows them to create magical items using their own blood as a component. Yikes. A Blood Hunter is for players that want to have more of a material play style and who want to play as a character by their own blood to fuel their ability. They excel at combat due to their blood magic to enhance attacks and defend themselves. Using blood magic could actually be a flaw. When blood magic isn't actually used in a situation, it can be very less effective. As a Blood Hunter, you can use your intelligence modifier for some of your classes and your subclasses, but speak to your DM about this. They may change it up. You never know. A Blood Hunter was originally a homebrew creation anyway, so go nuts as long as you follow the rules from Critical Role. I would rate these a 5 out of 5 D20s since this class is still unknown and it's still unofficial material. So who knows what the future will bring for this class. So guys, that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for hopping along. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all for your love and support. We do really appreciate it. This channel has come so far since you guys and you helping us out. So guys, you are amazing. We really appreciate you and we really love you. Guys, remember, it's D&D for me and you. Callum will catch you in the next week when he talks about the races part 1. Guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.